The new musical Mask, based on the 1985 feature film starring Cher and Eric Stoltz, has opened with a world premiere production here at the Pasadena Playhouse. Directed by Tony Award winner Richard Maltby Jr., the show boasts a cast of 20 and is led by Michelle Duffy, Greg Evigan, and Allen Read. During rehearsal break, I caught up with the trio and Richard Maltby to talk about bringing this true story to the stage.
And when the grass smells fresh and clean, that's what we call emerald green. Now are you getting what I mean?
I think so.
Oh, isn't it a beautiful world? You have someone's hand to hold. The feeling in your heart, that's gold.
I know that.
Oh, isn't it a beautiful world?
Yeah, isn't it a beautiful world?
Oh, isn't it a beautiful world?
I play Rocky Dennis, who has a disease called craniodiaphyseal dysplasia, which means, and if you come see the show, you will learn about this disease. It's a genetic disorder where abnormal amounts of calcium get deposited into a person's cranium. And really what happens is it enlarges all of the bones in the skull and in the face. So he looks strange. He looks incredibly strange. He's got eyes that are really spread far wide. He's got a nose that's very flat. He's got a very pronounced jaw. He's got a very pronounced forehead. The makeup is designed by Michael Westmore, who did the mask for Eric Stoltz in the movie. That's how he won his Oscar. So he's pretty good. And it's about a 2-hour process, all told. We're whittling that down as we get, more used to it. But it's applied with an adhesive. It's latex foam. There's a jaw piece. There's a head piece. There's 2 cheekbones and a nose. And then there's a wig that's fitted on top of that. And that's applied with a silicone adhesive, which is, I'm told, very good for your skin. I'm still jury out on that a little bit. The character, he's a normal boy. He's a normal 15-year-old boy who's going through puberty and who's dealing with girls and who's understanding that his parents are human beings for the first time. And it's about what it's like for a boy to discover those things in the midst of dealing with his medical issue. I had never seen the movie. When I got the audition, I watched the movie. And when I mentioned it, everyone else seemed to know the movie. I didn't necessarily base my performance on the movie, but the movie was not taboo as far as discussions were concerned in rehearsal. We certainly talked about it because Anna is in the room, and why not take advantage of that incredible resource.
When I knew the auditions were coming up, I rented it to watch it again to refamiliarize myself with the story. But I think the entire time that I was trying to get an idea of the story, but not get an idea of what Cher did. It was just more like, what was the mother-son thing, So I had an idea going into it, learning the music, because this is a lot different. It's not putting the movie on stage. It's putting the story that the movie was based on stage with a lot more, I don't know, not depth, but Anna has learned so much more about these people since that movie came out. So I think it's a sort of a, I don't want to say deeper. That's belittling the film. But this is a different Rusty. Let's just put it that way. It's a different Rusty than Cher.
Mom, is that you, Rocky? Are you home?
This role is just an actor's dream. There's so much there. There's so much there, and the fact that this woman existed and she lived this is an amazing thing. She's a Brooklyn Jew who lived in California for 50 years, and the interview that I heard and watched, she was at like 60, mid-60s. Had been living in California for 45 years, had never lost the Brooklyn accent. That being a very big part of who she was, being in the biker community as well, which is an odd thing. Having this child, raising this child alone, battling drug addiction, just an astonishing woman. And I actually feel really honored to bring this to life. I really do.
You have someone's hand to hold. The feeling in your heart.
Music's phenomenal. It really is. It's different because Cynthia and Barry, of course, have written a litany of incredible tunes that everybody knows. And they bring those talents for that kind of music into an arena, meaning theater, that is requires a different structure sometimes, a different sensibility. But they have brought their sensibility into this realm so beautifully, and it works so well for this particular show. The biker world is a completely different world than we're used to. The way we're presenting the story is a different way in which people are used to, so it's very fitting, and it's phenomenal. I swear you could walk out singing most of this score.
It's definitely rock. There's no doubt about that. But then there's times when there's a beautiful ballad that. But the band that's sitting down there is, we got drums, guitar, bass, and the synths. So it's light rock. Light rock. It's not heavy rock, Gar's kind of he's a guy who comes and goes as he pleases, and he's kind of come and gone out of Rusty's life and Rocky's life, and he I think after all those years out there on the road and trying to deal with his temper, he's had a horrible temper, which kind of gets the best of him sometimes. And so I think he's at the point in his life where he's trying to make a real change. And this is his opportunity. He comes back and ends up leaving again, but he finally sees that sometimes you got to just suck it up a little bit and put the energy that it takes to make something right.
The culture that it exists in, which is the sort of American bike culture, is as exotic as if we'd set it in Thailand or a shtetl in Russia. It's a way of life. It's about family. It's about love. What intrigues me about the story was that it was about a woman who simply refused to believe what doctors told her, and because she refused to believe it, kept her son alive 5 times longer than any child who had this illness. Michelle Duffy is very well known in California, not really known outside of California. She's an absolutely extraordinary singing actress. I think I've never encountered a smarter singer, actress in my life. She is just stunning. And this performance, which is, she's created a character who is not her, and somewhat closer to the real Rocky Dennis, not Cher, but Cher wasn't anywhere near the real Rocky Dennis. And Allen Read, who is really a newcomer and is so just a great singer and again, one of the smartest actors I've ever dealt with. I barely have to say anything because he's way ahead of me all the time. Greg Evigan, who's known from a bunch of television shows. People do not know that he started out in musical theater in New York. Terrific person, terrific presence. And this giant of a man named Michael Lanning, who's playing a character called Bulldozer Higgins, who's kind of the keeper of the biker legends in the show, will also knock people's socks off because they've never seen that character ever on a stage. I think people will be really surprised and I think delighted by the people who walk out on that stage.
Mask runs through April 20th here at the Pasadena Playhouse. In Los Angeles, I'm James Sims for BroadwayWorld.com.